Hey, besties. So today we are going to do the chip bag. So this is all of the supplies that you would actually need, which is your design, which we already went through and made in using Canva. We printed it out on koala glossy paper using our inkjet printer, or you can send it to CVS, Walgreens, or any print shop, and they're going to print it out on an 8.5 glossy. You're going to need a bag of chips. I am using some Fritos this go round because the kiddos do not care for the Fritos unless we're doing Frito pie. You're going to need scissors. You're also going to need like your crinkle, whatever edge or finish you want, you can do that. You don't necessarily have to have a crimper, but this just gives it a finished look to make it look like an actual bag of chips. You're going to need your hot glue sticks and of course your hot glue gun. Um, you, like I said, don't have to have the crimper. You don't necessarily have to have this. This just gives it a finished, polished look. This was printed on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. I'm not going to cut the edges because when we get ready to put it together anyway, it's going to, we're going to have to trim it. So I just print mine as is straight out of Canva. I take it from Canva, print it into Silhouette. If you guys follow me, you know I like to print out a Silhouette to ensure that all of my images are printed the size that I want them to be. So first things first, I actually like to kind of make sure that it lines up, and I like to kind of crease it just a little bit. I don't want harsh crease lines, but I do like to kind of crease it. And what I am going to do is I'm going to cut the white off of just one side, not both. And I'm going to use my regular scissors to do that. So again, no special equipment needed in order to do the chip bags. Okay, so now I have one side doesn't have the white on there. I am going to actually glue the side that I just cut on top. I left this because I like to just have an extra lip of working space to put the glue versus it overlapping on my design. So I'm going to set chips in there, get my hot glue gun, and I'm going to run a bead of glue down that side that we're going to glue down. Let me add another glue stick in here. And yes, um you can pre-glue some of your sides on your chip bag and just slide your chips in there so you can do like this back piece and a bottom piece and then slide your chips in there and then just glue your top. Um that is definitely a quicker way of assembling, or you can go this route where you're doing each one. And just remember, it's hot glue. So one is hot. Two, it does dry a little fast. And then what you're gonna do is take your time, make sure your design lines up, and then just press down to make sure that the hot glue adheres to both sides. I'm gonna add a little bit more glue right here in the middle. Now, some people might say, oh, well, can't you just use double-sided tape? Absolutely. But keep in mind, if you are like shipping these off to a potential customer or actual customer, um, The weather can play a part as far as the double-sided tape staying closed, especially if you are selling these fields. So honestly, I like to go the route of hot glue because I know it's on there, it's closed and it's sealed, and you won't have any issues of your treats coming apart. So that's definitely an option, but just keep in mind if you are shipping and just the different weather, because going from cold to hot can play a part. And then we are going to run a bead of glue at the bottom. You want to kind of stay away from the very edge of it because, of course, we're going to be crimping it with our crimper, and we're going to trim it. So we want to make sure that when we cut it and trim it, that it's still glued together and you're not cutting in the area of that you're going to be cutting off, and if the glue is still there. So when you're using the Fritos, they do kind of sit a little flat, but we'll fix that when we glue. So we have our back glued, and you see how the seam, you can't see it. And then we have our bottom. So now we're just going to, now if you're using like the fatter chips, I do like to kind of push mine down to make sure that it is going to line up correctly and not bow when I get ready to do the hot glue. And then we're going to add another bead of glue across. And then you're just going to push down to make sure both sides are glued together. Now, for my girlies who don't have the chip crimper, I did do this design and I put the little wavy lines in there so it still gave that look. So if you were just to cut this with your serrated scissors, you would still have a crimped look. So that is a workaround for my besties that do not have a chip crimper. So the next thing, I'm going to actually take my serrated scissors and I'm going to cut along the top and the bottom to give it that chip bag. And for some reason, these scissors seem to be a little sticky, but I don't have any glue on there. But they sometimes, I don't know where my other ones are, but it gets the job done. And like I said, we're going to do the top and the bottom. And you can get these scissors off of Amazon. You can get them at Hobby Lobby, Walmart, any craft area. Michael's has them and sells them. So this is how it will look if you did not have a chip crimper. But you see how cute that is? We got the birthday Betty design going on in the front and the back. So it still gives, so again, you don't have to have a chip crimper. But if you do, you simply put it in there and twist it. It's going to feed into the crimper and it's going to crimp those ends. So like I said, I intentionally did this design with those lines on there. And it just gives it more definition if you have the chip crimper in there. So again, utilize the template that I have available. It's drag and drop Canva Pro to have access to all of the elements in there. And if you get the bundle, you're getting the chips. There's like 25 different designs. So it's the chip bag, the water bottles, the Capri Suns, the shot glasses, the fan, the foam cup, party cups, the bucket, your t-shirt design. So you're getting 25 different drag and drop designs. Simply add their picture. You can change the color. You can even go in there and change the font to this design, but they're all drag and drop and Canva friendly. I'll see you guys on the next tutorial. Bye.